Welcome to the Roadmap to Secure Love. In today's episode, Kim and Kyle discuss how people-pleasing and anxious attachment can lead to performative, disconnected sex, and what it takes to reclaim authentic intimacy. Let's dive in.
If you have an anxious attachment, you might use strategies such as people-pleasing, right? You learn that, oh, if I just please the people around me, then that might keep them around. It might show them that I'm valuable or worthwhile. People-pleasing can also show up in the bedroom, right? We might start to try to please our partner. We might have sex or intimacy, even when we're not open to it or not really wanting it, because we feel like we have to or should to be a good partner. And this leads to a whole lot of problems for ourselves, for our bodies, and also for the relationship.
Yeah, it turns into like obligatory sex,
Yeah.
which is not fun.
Or sexy.
No. So it's like, okay, well, I just have to do it. And I don't want my partner to be mad at me.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just go ahead and do it. And it's just like, okay, let's get this over with, get the orgasm, let's turn over. See ya.
Right.
Not fun.
No, it's just checking the box on the chore chart.
Do you know that I was told, Kyle, that a therapist told a client that she needed to give her husband sex 3 times a week?
Wow.
And I'm like, fire them.
Mm-hmm.
Fire that therapist. Public service announcement. If your therapist tells you to do that, fire them. They're not good.
Mm-hmm. Because they're not looking at what's actually going on. That one, you feel this pressure to have sex. Two, what's going on in your body that you're not open or interested in being sexual right now. And what's going on in the relationship dynamics that are getting in the way, right? Being told just to have sex 3 times, yeah, you could do that. You're going to be a little checked out. You're going to be maybe resentful. You're going to be like, wow, can we just get this over soon? Which is then going to send a message to your partner that you don't really enjoy it, which is then going to make them not enjoy it and or feel bad about wanting that type of intimacy, right? And so it actually pulls the relationship farther apart rather than creates passionate, playful, creative intimacy that brings us closer together. So it's a very problematic prescription to challenges in a relationship.
But we get it everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
unfortunately, this poor human got it from a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
But we get it from religion. We get it from family members. We get it from movies. We get it from so many things of like, you're to have a great sex life, you have to have it this many times or this often, or it needs to look like this or needs to look like that. And it just gets old.
Yeah.
It just gets old because it takes away the power of the people involved co-creating their own sexual script. And somebody out there gets to tell you what you do in the bedroom.
Right.
Boo.
Yeah, it's yucky because it takes away, again, your creativity. It takes away you and your partner being able to be creative and playful and erotic and sensual and exploratory, right? Not every time you're intimate needs to be penetrative, right? There's so many ways of experiencing pleasure and connection that can be very erotic and playful. And when it's just, you got to have sex 3 times a week, it takes all that out the window and just leaves us in a kind of a dead end intimacy relationship.
Yeah. And one that's just like performative.
Yeah.
You lose all of your eroticism, you lose all of the pleasure, you lose all of your spontaneity, and you replace it with resentment. You replace it with, I've got to do a chore list. You lose so much that way.
You too.
So what do we do when we, you know, we want to please our partner?
I think we got to start. Yeah, I think the first place to look at is like, what's going on for me that's a strategy that I'm using, right? What is the messages I've got? What's going on for my attachment that's getting in the way?
Did you hear that dog?
I did. Yeah. Good old Ben.
You guys, I have a puppy and she has a bone right now and she's like going crazy.
Mm-hmm. But going back to this part, right? While Penny's enjoying that bone, it's really going on what's going on for me that I end up losing my sense of self, right? Because that's kind of what's come up. It might be religious messages, it might be family messages, cultural messages. We might have had personal experiences where we're told that, oh, this is what you have to do, like that therapist. Like this is how you have a great relationship. Is you just have to do it. And so there's again, through attachment science, we know there's reasons we do what we do. Right. So we got to start to look at why. And Kim, what might be some of those possible reasons people might use those strategies, even in the bedroom?
Yeah, well, because it's awful to feel like we're not pleasing our partner.
Mhm.
It's terrible. That's the last thing that we want to do. We don't want to be told that we're bad lovers. We don't want to be told that we're bad partners. And so we fall into the trap that everybody tells us how we should behave. And I'm going to say something very controversial. Okay, here we go. You as a human have to own your own pleasure. It is nobody else's responsibility. And when you can figure that out and own that, it frees up the relationship, right? It's like, okay, now I get to engage with you sexually because I want to and we want to, but not because I'm supposed to give you an orgasm or make you feel good. No, that's not my job.
No. I think this is such a paradigm shift for some people, right? Because there is these narratives, oh, I got to be a good lover, my partner has to have this experience, right? Or they have to have the orgasm, or they have to do this. But the problem is that makes us very other focused and less about the sensations and what's going on in our body and our own pleasure, and being able to coach our partner or talk with them about what is actually more connecting, more pleasurable, more enjoyable for us, so that the partners can co-create a very erotic and playful relationship.
Absolutely. So we got to talk. We got to first own our own pleasure and be like, I need to get to know my own body. Then I've got to talk with my partner and be like, what is it look like for us to join together? What's pleasurable for us both? And then we've got to, and maybe even before that, we've got to unwind all the things that we've learned. And to be like, I don't want some strange person who talked to me about sex when I was in high school tell me about what it's supposed to be like. I want to figure it out with the person I'm with.
Yeah, I love Dr. Emily Nagoski's and Come As You Are. She talks about, right, this garden, right? And she uses metaphor, we get all these messages, we get these kind of weeds put in our garden. And that ends up kind of taking up a lot of space in our garden where we don't plant what we want, right? You're
Right.
not planting the tomatoes, you're not planting flowers, you're not doing these other things. And so what she talks about is how do you look at some of these scripts that you've gotten about, how sex should be when you're in middle school, high school, college, through porn, through all these other, magazines or websites or Reddit about how you should be, and how is that shaping how you're showing up, right? And if it's not something that is helping you create that relationship, you need to pull it out and plant something that's going to help you create a playful erotic relationship.
Absolutely. 100%. So we've got to let go of kind of the weight and the garbage. I call it garbage that we've been taught.
Yeah.
And we've got to sit down with our partner and be like, what feels good to us? And let's get creative. And for the people pleaser, we've got to be like, okay, it's not my responsibility to own their pleasure. It's the responsibility to own my own.
Right.
And it's okay for me to live authentically. It's okay for me to say no sexually. It's okay for me to say the soft no that we talked about last week. And when we can talk like that with our partner and be truly authentic, let go of the pressure, co-create a sexual script. I promise you, Kyle promises you, you will have the best sex you've ever had.
Absolutely, 100%. Because you are taking in and that responsibility for your pleasure, your partner's doing the same, and you're co-creating it from a place of security, safety. So that way it can be fun.
Unwind it, folks. Go create your own sexual script.
So if you find yourself in this place where you keep people pleasing, right, your partner, where you're just trying to please them and you find yourself in obligatory sexual interactions, stop. Right? It's actually getting in the way of having great sex and having a good relationship too. It's important to look at why that has come up as a strategy for you. What are those messages you got culturally, family, from your 6th grade sex ed teacher, whoever that was, so that you can decide what is actually helpful in your relationship and for your own body around sex. And this is the work we do individually or with our couple clients is we help them define sex when Kim and I work with them, right? And that helps them then define powerful scripts for them to create an erotic and playful relationship. And so you got to look at kind of what's going on for you, start to work on that, own your own pleasure, and then be able to work with your partner as they own their pleasure to co-create this really playful, erotic relationship. And that takes people pleasing, it throws it out the window, and it creates a lot more space for you and your partner to just be together without all that pressure or all that sense of you have to be a certain way for the relationship to go well.
Today's episode was packed with powerful insights. Here are your key takeaways. 1. Stop performative sex. 2. Own your pleasure. 3. Challenge harmful scripts. 4. Co-create intimacy and heal anxious patterns. Follow Kyle and Kim on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Be sure to sign up for the Secure Attachment Path course to explore your attachment style, uncover relationship patterns, and learn practical tools for building secure connections. Link to the course can be found in the show notes and on our website. Until next time, stay connected and love fully.